Greetings and blessings, and welcome to part 4 of CND's 7-part mini-series on the principles of Kwanzaa. For those of you just stepping in, you can go back to part 1 in the series by clicking on the link in the show notes. In this episode, I'll talk about Ujamaa, or Cooperative economics. And you'll recall that the last epi, Ujamaa, is all about collective work and responsibility. So these two principles, of course, are closely related, right? We all have work to do and responsibility to one another, but we also have to think about what to do with the fruits of our labor, the economics, and how wealth is distributed in that community. As I was reading more about Ujamaa from the official Kwanzaa website, I was really struck with one of the key points of Ujamaa, which is that wealth is the means to a good society, not the ends. And what a contrast that is to our life in the United States. I mean, everybody's chasing those dollar bills. It really made me think of how we all learn, or at least most of us learn at a very early age, that those among us who work the hardest with their physical labor, giving their blood, sweat, and tears, are generally not the ones who benefit most from their labor. And this is another key point with Ujamaa, the understanding that everyone contributes work, but there's also a respect for that work, a value to that work. The idea is that nobody's work should be exploited for the personal gain of a very few. And that's something else that really impressed me about Ujamaa. And again, what a contrast to our own experience in the US. And so for some historical context, I invite you to do some of your own research on Black Wall Street, for example, during the Jim Crow era, when segregation was the law of the land. And so African Americans had to take matters in their own hands. Here's that kujichagulia, self-determination again. They understood correctly that separate was not, in fact, equal in white society. So they started their own restaurants, their own banks, their own businesses. And they kept that money within their own community, supporting one another and sharing the wealth. This is the idea of Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Que todo sea amor, walk tall, live free.